Well, I, for one, am sick and tired of dealing with the bad stuff from the Disney afternoon, so... let's get dangerous!
Darkwing Duck!
Oh, hell yeah! Like I need to go too far into this, Darkwing Duck is freaking awesome! When this show debuted on the block in 1991, it was when the Disney afternoon was at its absolute peak. What's most amazing is that for an anthropomorphic duck masquerading as a cheesy Batman knockoff, Darkwing may actually be the most human superhero made in a long time. Someone with an ego and flaws, but can always overcome them to save the day in the end. He has a code of honor he follows, he truly believes in helping people and doing the right thing, he just wants credit for it. Along with him having to find balance between being a superhero and a single adoptive father. The show remains an absolute cult classic for those that grew up with it, and it's why it's almost criminal that this series has still not gotten a complete home video release. And the full series likely never will, because there were actually episodes that Disney banned even after airing, including one in particular that they buried even quicker than they shelved that Mad Bomber episode of Bonkers. The rumor is this episode aired only once, and not even on the Disney Afternoons lineup, but on ABC Saturday morning. If that's the case, you're listening to one of the few people who actually watched it that lone time. Did it deserve to be buried like this? Well, let's look at the Darkwing Duck episode Hot Spells and find out for ourselves. The episode opens with Darkwing, Gosalyn, and Morgana at Morgana's old magic school.
The Eldritch Academy of Enchantment has been the center of sorcery studies for thousands of years.
What about that Hogwarts school over in England? We don't talk about that overrated Hall of Wannabes! They can't even keep a defense against a dark arts teacher for more than a year! But the trip down memory lane gets spoiled by the in-laws. Yeah, I know Darkwing and Morgana aren't married, but that's too good of a joke to waste given how much DW is at odds with them, especially with Daddy.
Still dating the normal, I see. Couldn't you dig up someone better?
Hey, she quit digging when she found me, pal.
Perhaps she needs a new shovel.
As we learn that Morgana has come back here to deliver a special presentation to the faculty and alumni, we then immediately cut to hell. And I think you've already found out why this thing is banned. Satan himself, okay, they call him his more PC name of Beelzebub in this thing, has decided to find a way to get Darkwing's soul for no real reason other than he's bored. So he's pretty much become the Black Knight from Ultima Runes of Virtue 2.
What's this, the janitor's closet?
It's the Library of Forbidden Spells.
Is it gonna do that every time we say, Library of Forbidden Spells?
It's no joke to the guy playing it. He's got carpal tunnel like you wouldn't believe.
Those are the spells and incantations that extract too great a price to be used.
And we also stock all those Goosebumps novels in here. How dare that R.L. Stein creep try to give us a bad name? So much of the remaining first act is about Gosalyn having to hear about how even being a mistress of the dark isn't all fun and games. It turns out you pretty much have to be a rocket scientist to perform magic.
Magic only looks easy because we do the calculations in our head. We still have to brew the prerequisite potion, but it keeps for ages. As long as you remember to burp the quackerware.
Trust me, kid, I know what they're talking about regarding how dangerous and difficult magic is. I've played King's Quest III.
Real wizards aren't afraid to experiment. Uh-oh.
Congratulations! You've just discovered chocolate pudding!
So Gaz gets humiliated trying to master potions, and to be honest, these ghouls do come off as assholes ridiculing her. I mean, like, they didn't turn someone into a wombat by accident their first time doing this?
Whoa! You scared the daylights out of me, girlie. The name's Beelzy.
Isn't this the Library of Forbidden Spells?
Used to be. I moved all that junk down to the basement. No sense taking up room with a lot of books nobody reads, huh?
That actually makes sense.
No, really, that's actually a very good point. Why wouldn't they have moved all the books and buried them deep in the basement, or maybe in a freaking mountain somewhere? Are they that frightened of them that they feel even holding them for transport would corrupt them like the One Ring to rule them all? I know that knowledge is power and power corrupts, but damn!
Look, I'll let you in on a little secret. Magic is easy. Well, that math stuff over there, it's there to keep the teachers employed. Some kind of union thing, I think,
The devil is making the most sense in this thing, and that frightens me. So Beelzebub gives Gosalyn her own spell book that apparently automatically makes her able to cast magic like an expert. And why do I get the feeling this episode isn't going to end as wacky as an episode of Bewitched?
What's the big deal?
What's the big deal? It's only the most important moment of my entire life! Oh, sorry, Dark. I guess I'm just a little tense.
Sure, a little tense.
Morgana's gotta be one great kisser if DW is willing to keep getting singed like that all the time. Meanwhile, Gosalyn shows up dressed in a pretty lame cosplay of the Sorcerer's Apprentice and creates some cross between Bob the Blob and Mina Hyena.
Ooh, a man!
Gosalyn, have you been using spells from the Forbidden Library?
This ultimately impresses the Dean to the point where he wants Gosalyn to give her own presentation. This presentation is gonna make me wish I brought popcorn, isn't it?
Is one of the forbidden books. Gosalyn, don't...
I've seen those doors before.
Those are the gates of fire, you old fool.
Oh sure, she can whip up a gate to the underworld, no problem, but it took me forever to find the entrance to level 7 on The Legend of Zelda.
You picked the wrong battleground, Beelzebub. Now you face the combined power of the students and alumni of the Eldritch Academy.
Gee, that was easy.
You think that's bad? You should see the record in Quidditch.
I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the water balloon that lands right on your head. I am Darkwing.
I have a little surprise for you.
Morgana!
I'll let her go if you agree to take her place.
Don't do it, Dark! That's been his plan the whole time!
All right, we've got a deal.
And this is where the plot kinda goes off the rails for me. I mean, why is Morgana used as the bargaining chip here? The whole underlying theme of the story seems to be that Gosalyn more or less sold her soul for magic powers. So, wouldn't it have made more sense for Beelzebub to have sprung out and taken Gosalyn in order to cash in on this supposed deal and then demand DW give himself up in exchange for her? And then the others tell Gosalyn it was her fault DW got caught because of her quest for power, but again, what part did Gosalyn really have in this plan? Was it all just that Beelzebub needed someone else up top to summon the gates of fire, even though he was somehow able to come up to the surface himself? Whatever, the Dean declares that since Gosalyn was lied to and tricked into using the spells, Beelzebub's contract is invalid. Again, what contract? And thus they can find a way to save Darkwing. As DW is looking at an eternity of watching Pelican's Island reruns with demonic versions of his neighbors... Damn, he really is the devil. They're able to concoct a potion that summons the gates again so they can go down and pose as reporters in order to just steal Darkwing back. Yeah, kinda lame.
That's a smooch, big boy.
Because the double standard of men being stalked and harassed by women will always be funny and not creepy at all.
This punishment is going to have to be pretty good. I used up my best stuff when she blew up the bathroom. But this is going to call for something major.
Not my comic books! Come on, Dad, it's not like I played hooky or something. It was just your soul. This is cruel and unusual.
And so, yeah, that's the forbidden episode of Darkwing Duck. It's not that great an episode, but did it really deserve to be banned? Heck, I get the feeling the original script already got heavily edited in order to even get it produced at all, and the result is a lot of plot holes, particularly in the third act, that kind of derail the sell your soul storyline they were definitely intending to go for. And then Disney chickened out afterwards and dropped the episode anyway after it aired the one time. It does seem like a cowardly cop-out in my view, especially since Beelzebub had appeared in 1 or 2 episodes before. The subject matter is no more controversial than that of a lot of cartoons that were made 40 to 50 years earlier, even the ones made by Disney. Heck, remember the original Chicken Little short where the wolf did eat all the chickens in the end? So to me, even though this wasn't the show's best work, it getting stripped from the rotation is just another example of mealy-mouthed executives catering to whiny moral guardians, and probably why Disney pretty much stopped taking chances in a lot of their shows in the immediate years following, and instead resorted to pathetic stuff like what we've covered earlier. So with all that taken into account, was all of this the cause of the fall of the Disney afternoon? Well, while it is true the quality of their later shows went down, the truth is the days of such an animation block were probably numbered already. By the mid-1990s, with the advent of Cartoon Network and the like, conglomerates were already looking at distributing their work to other networks and set blocks as a thing of the past, and were making strides toward establishing their own networks or using what they already had to distribute their content exclusively. You can still complain that all of the Disney afternoon shows, even the good ones, are being pushed to the back for sure, but blaming the end of the block itself on the likes of Quack Pack and Schnookums and Meat is probably just using a scapegoat and not recognizing it as just a sign of the times. But that doesn't mean we can't keep letting our opinions be known, and hope that one day the higher-ups at Disney can realize that there can be room at the table for both the great works that previous generations enjoyed along with their newer content. As yes, even Hannah Montana herself said, we truly can have the best of both worlds. See you next time on TV Trash.